Hi everyone.
Hey, we're live.
Morning.
This is the day
Welcome back.
2,
Thanks,
second day
guys.
of this photography live event. We are live for 6 hours and then we will be back with 2 more hours later in the evening for us. Okay, because it's 9 a.m. for us. We're live from San Francisco. Let us know in the chat where you're from. What time is it in your region? We will be live for 2 hours with Nicolle. And the format, I guess if you watched the episodes yesterday, you understand they just take a picture in the studio, you will see just behind us, and then they come back here and they use the brain of Terry White to retouch the pictures in Lightroom CC and
It's a
Photoshop.
dangerous, bad thing.
Yeah. They were scared. They said it went well yesterday, no?
It did go well.
Yeah,
It went great.
Yeah.
His brain worked, you know? Yeah, he did a good job. We also want you to participate in the contest if you want to get a chance to win a Creative Cloud subscription and access Photoshop, Lightroom, all the Creative Cloud apps. Then the theme of the day is still life, and this is your thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So still life. Maybe you can explain what this is. Still life.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
want me to do that?
Yeah, just-
Okay. Still life is essentially anything that isn't a person. So find something in your home or your office.
Objects on a table.
Try to find some cool window light, or if you've got some, whatever lights, any light, a lamp, aiming at it, see what you can do with the shadows and
Still life.
the highlights. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Right.
Cool
Hard
photo
drive.
of a hard drive,
Actually,
I
don't know if that's product photography or still life.
Well, maybe it depends on how you style it,
Oh,
you know?
there you go. There you
And we
go.
have friends watching from Portugal. It's already 5 p.m.
Oh,
in
radical.
Portugal. From Idaho and Canada, Paris. Okay, yeah.
Aw.
Thanks
Well,
for watching,
welcome to the
everyone.
party. Yeah.
So we want you to participate in the still life. So all the rules of the contest, okay, are in the contest tab next to the chats. The idea is that you take a picture, you import it in the new Lightroom CC. Make sure to make a copy, okay? We want you to share before and after editing in Lightroom, okay? So you make a copy, you use the settings, you edit your shot, and then when you use the new Lightroom CC, every time you import a picture, correct me if I'm wrong, Terry, but it goes in the cloud, so it's
Correct.
synced everywhere.
It's
So,
already synced and backed up, and on all your devices running Lightroom CC.
yeah, and there is a web version. So if you go to lightroom.adobe.com, this is the web version of Lightroom, and you can access all your pictures, and you can create a shared public gallery. Okay, it will generate a link, and we want you to share this link using bit.ly/submit-adobe. Okay, so we want you to start taking pictures now. You have 1 hour and a half to share with us your pictures, because at the end of the show, we will review your pictures with Nicolle, and she will pick the one she
She's going
prefers.
to pick the winner.
Aw, geez. I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. Okay, Nicolle, let's look at your website. Okay, we do a quick introduction. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were looking at the still life. Maybe we can look at food and drink today.
I think we can do that.
Oh my God, we're hungry now.
I know, give me all the cupcakes.
So
So a lot of this
always
is editorial
colorful.
work
Oh, no,
that
we-
I've done.
We've seen this
Yeah, we
one.
saw
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, we
great.
kind of went through a lot of this. So you guys can check it out
the
yourself at
cheese.
home.
I love the cheese one.
Thank you. I know, it's like cheesecake. You know?
Oh, and the salami is so good. It's better.
I don't think any of us ate breakfast this morning. We're just gonna start grubbing down on my photos. So yeah, just
Oh, this one. I like the
Yeah,
fish.
that's really nice.
Yeah.
thank you.
Reminds
That was
me of, Martin Parr.
oh rad, yeah. That was a
Nice.
very fun shoot.
Nice, clean, and colorful.
Yes, my goals. So yeah, some of my food photography and stuff. We all love those guys.
It'd been hilarious if the stream of ketchup could have landed.
I know. I mean, I'm sure it's
Yeah,
possible with
Photoshop, yeah.
some Photoshop,
Right.
but
That would be hilarious.
I suppose that's sort of the intent there
Right.
with the pairing and stuff for sure. And yeah, sometimes I just pull stuff out of the garbage, like these 2 sushi shots, and try to photograph it beautifully. So hey, still life. Maybe you guys
Yeah.
got some cool garbage sitting around. I'm literally not joking. Some more of that, a little bit of this. And yeah, so a lot of these images were shot for editorial use. This is one of my favorites. Fancy jewelry and stuff, and food.
Awesome.
My favorite
Maybe we can
book.
show the fun. Yeah.
This is most of my personal work.
Okay.
So this is kind of what I get to do when I'm not shooting for other people.
So how do you mix a personal and business project? Like you keep working on personal project, like you.
Yeah, I find I get the most sort of interest in my work through my personal work from like new clients and stuff. There have been periods of times when like I'm either busy or maybe having a creative block where I'm not shooting personal work, which was like most honestly of the beginning of this year. And I was very slow because of that. You know what I mean? Like there's just like there's something about that sort of the energy of you making the art, and then like that gets out into the ether. And you know, I don't know. It's I don't like to believe that that's how everything works, but I think it is. So I notice whenever I do, get more creative and kind of do the stuff that makes me happy, people see that and they're like, oh, like I want to work with that
These
girl.
Balloons, oh my god.
Yeah, that was fun. I worked with my art director friend.
3D in dimension.
Yes.
It's like 3D.
Very much so, but it's 2-dimensional. What? Yeah. So these are some
And
fun
the
shots.
gradient, like, is it in post or
The gradients on these shots were done in post.
yeah.
We originally shot, I think, pretty much everything on like this sort of
color?
teal green, and then on like kind of an orangish yellow backdrop. And they looked really beautiful. But then I started kind of playing around with different gradient maps and stuff, and I was like, oh, like this actually like kind of elevated it just like a little bit more or whatever. Thanks. Yeah, and without having to like bring in a bunch of gels or anything on set. So that was fun. And then and as I mentioned yesterday, I just shot another really amazing, I think it's like a 12-image personal project, kind of like a fashion food situation. Apparently I like fashion and food. I just feel like now that we think about it. So that should be coming out in January, so that'll be on my site and everything. It's off at the retoucher right now because I did not want to... There's a lot of color matching and things to do in those shots, so I wanted to make sure I had a true professional handling all that stuff. But yeah, and then my Badass Babes shoot, which is super fun. Just apparently color, gold and pink.
Awesome.
And then same shoot, we threw some gels on the girls for more of kind of a nightclub sort of vibe. And there's a whole story with that whole shoot, too. That's going to be hopefully an art show here in the future up in Portland. So it'll be kind of an interactive
And where are you
situation.
based again?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, yeah. So that's like that's the inside of my brain, you guys, in these images. So hope you can appreciate. Oh, yeah, and then the Squeezer series. Some of them, at least. And then this was like my first try at still life photography, like going kind of weird and just seeing like what do I have at home to photograph, which again you guys could easily be creating similar images to these if you've got like old pizza and some pumpkin seeds or a horse with sunglasses. I don't know. So that's a little bit of that.
So Nicolle was already with us yesterday. She took a still life picture. If you want to get inspired, you can later maybe watch the replay. It's already available on the Creative Code YouTube channel. Maybe we can show the picture if we show the Cintiq that you took yesterday. So
This is your before and after, right?
Yeah, so I, got kind of bored in the hotel room last night and decided to do kind of a full edit on the shot that I did yesterday. So you guys can see sort of what came out of camera versus sort of the final image that I would use for, my book or whatever. So, it's already up on the screen. Sorry, I'm looking over there. So the one on the left is the after shot, obviously the retouch shot. Colors, the colors probably just look wonky on that monitor, right? Because they look really nice over there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That's what I do.
So what's the plan for today? It's a still life picture.
Yeah, so today we're doing another still life picture. We're actually going to kind of stay in the same sort of conceptual world of the shot we did yesterday. I just realized that I forgot one of my things for this shot, but we're going to go on the fly and you're going to watch me create and problem solve on set. And I'm hoping to maybe bust out a couple of shots with today's setup today, like a couple different shots. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
Nice.
stay tuned.
So maybe you will need Terry to fix.
Oh
some
yeah,
color.
there might be some color
Terry.
swaps we need to do. Oh, you act like you can't do it.
Yeah, nope, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea.
If anyone knows what they're doing here, I think it's you.
No.
So
No clue.
Okay, awesome. So we will transition to the studio.
okay.
And
Get it right in the camera because I can't fix it.
You're adorable. Stop it. Raw. Okay.
All right, so
Okay, so-
they're going to head all the way over to the studio. It's a long walk, so it'll probably take them, 10, 15 seconds. And there they are.
Okay. So we have our setup ready. Yeah.
Yes.
Here.
All right, guys.
Can I see the
So
other GoPro shot? Yeah, that's good too.
good. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Cool.
So Nicolle, you wanted to also show and give an opportunity to all the viewers to kind of reproduce, the same kind of atmosphere. So you didn't want to share something too complex, but see how with one light, one stroke, you can create an atmosphere. So
Absolutely.
So it was the case yesterday. It will be the case today.
Yeah. Which I think is also like kind of a good sort of, again, push for everybody that's going to participate in the contest to like just find a light source and kind of see what you can do with it. If you're not using the sun and you can move your light source around, I'll kind of show you a little bit of that today. But it's really fun to see, like, play with the shadows and use the shadows as part of the composition, if you will. So we're gonna kind of play around with that, and it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah. So we have this beautiful paper.
Yep. So we're starting with our flamingo backdrop
Flamingo.
color.
Do you remember the name of the brand?
I think these are Savage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, Savage
Savage.
backdrops.
Savage backdrops.
So.
I think we use them with Lita and White in July. Sure. Lita, yeah, they ordered the Savage.
I like it.
And now we're.
Alright, so I'm just gonna move some of my props over here
Okay.
so we can start playing around. We got all sorts of stuff today. Whee!
So what is the theme of your picture?
So
Do you have your sketchbook?
I do, as a matter of fact. And you know what? I realized yesterday, Michael, when I showed you my setup drawing in this book, this is the book that you and Jason gave me the last time I was here. So it comes in handy. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Did I? I did.
Oh, maybe.
No, I think I drew the setup for this one, and it was with my assistant did such a lovely job with her lovely handwriting and straight lines. So this was kind of my
That's the plan. Okay, so maybe
my
you can
plan for today. So you can kind of
show
see.
the plan to the camera. That's the plan. So lipstick is for tomorrow.
Lipsticks for tomorrow.
So that's the plan today. So how do you call when you have a light coming from the top?
There probably is like a term for it. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like bird's eye view, sort of with the light coming in from the top like that.
Overhead. Okay.
Yeah, like overhead and stuff. Really, what I want to do today is like we're gonna style out this here lunch tray, and it's gonna be like ideally kind of a little bit trippy, like kind of have to take a double look at what some of the parts are in it to like understand if what you're seeing is real.
Thanks for joining us. We have Pedro's joining our live streams for the first time.
Yay,
So Pedro and everyone, the idea is that feel free to ask any questions. Okay, I have the chat here.
Yeah.
I can monitor your questions. If you have any questions, technical or questions about Nicolle, her career, how she deals with customers, anything.
Please.
Feel free to drop the questions, and I will try to take all the questions. If I miss a question, just repeat it in the chat. Okay, don't worry.
Perfect. We are going to be kind of playing with texture and color again today. So for instance, yesterday we were using like those blue aquarium rocks in the shoes or whatever. Today, we're going neon pink rocks.
Is it something that you really find at how pink this isn't? So vivid.
Not edible.
Is it something that you find at a place where you go for fish? To decorate an aquarium.
Yep,
or
I got
a
the
fish
rocks
tank?
and all the plants at I think Petco or PetSmart, one of the two places.
Yeah, okay.
And it was I was
Awesome.
literally there, I think, getting dog food or something, and it was just walking past that stuff.
It's
I was just
inspiring.
like, oh my god, like the textures and the colors, like everything's so weird in that aquarium world. So my whole goal with this is like we're using the rocks as kind of a slight riser for the crab, so he's kind of sitting up a little bit. And it's also just kind of a great, contrast of color and everything, which I love. Kind of get him in there. So I'm just going to kind of set stuff up and then we'll...
So Jeremy Cooper has a business question for you.
What's up, Jeremy?
So do you charge for the shoot and the photos? Or just one or the other? You see what I mean? So
no, that's a really great question.
So how does it work?
For me, and I think for kind of a lot of photographers, it does depend on the client. Like if it's a big ad job or something, I'm charging like line item style. There's a day rate line item just for my photography fees for my time. And then there's a whole separate, like the usage and licensing of the images, which is when you're dealing with an art buyer, you're talking to them about, where the image is going to be used, how many images, for how long, all of that type of stuff. And that's really where kind of the money starts to come into play with photography.
With licensing.
Licensing, it can go anywhere from like $50 an image to $15,000 an image, depending on, who the client is, if it's going to be a worldwide job.
Worldwide.
Billboards, print, digital, So it's tricky to kind of figure it all out. I think for like anybody kind of starting out, you're definitely just going to be like figuring out what your day rate is. And I can't remember the website, you guys, but if you like Google cost of doing business calculator, I think it's through like the ASMP or some photo group. But you literally like plug in all of your overhead, even if you're just working from home, shooting photos on the weekend, you can at least kind of figure out what your overhead is and sort of what the minimum is you need to charge in order to cover your overhead and to kind of pay yourself too.
So what's the name again? What should they Google?
Cost of doing business calculator.
Okay, so I'm sure the mods, they will find the link. But
that'd be great.
Awesome.
So I recommend, that's when I was starting off, like that's kind of, aside from talking to my mentors about it, like that was definitely, I check in with that calculator like twice a year just to make sure that like I'm still charging enough to like make sure that I'm not losing money on this job, personal preference, but also I wish we had like a union or some sort of better sort of situation for photographers to be able to have a open conversation about rates and all of that, but we can only hope. So now I'm making our beverage for our lunch. Fake pearls.
So something I can share with our viewers, like trying to make still life photography, and for the future. I was really surprised because Savage paper is so this is a professional background paper, and one of the most, I would say, creative in terms of colors and stuff. But this is something that you can order on Amazon, and it's maybe $10 to $15 a roll of paper. So I think it's a good investment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because paper can be very expensive. But in this case, like you have a roll, I think it's 5 feet, and you can reuse it like multiple times, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's like there's so much paper on these rolls. Like, I want to say, I think these are like $28 for the shorties.
Yeah, 28.
And if you need a 9-footer, it's like twice that price or whatever. But it's
in some colors, they are harder to find. I would have stuck, but but I was surprised because it's even the stand. We found it on Amazon, and it's not very expensive. So
I mean, it's there's definitely some great companies out there that are making like lesser quality, if you will, but still like affordable gear for beginners, so you can actually do. I mean, shoot, I was lucky enough that like a lot of the photographers I assisted, essentially gifted me their old backdrops or their old gear and stuff like that, because it was
good point.
It was scary. Like stuff, this industry is not that affordable, so any little bit helps just to make sure we can get our ideas out into the world. So I'm just slowly filling this up and hoping not to drop anything.
So we have a question from Derek.
What's up, Derek?
So he took a lot of photo courses in college, and now he's working in a different field. But he would like to get back into photography, potentially as his main field. Okay. Any tips for getting started in freelance?
Woo! I mean,
And he has a job to that, like he's working on something, so
see, like that's kind of.
so maybe he has to go step by step. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice if you already like have income, so you know you're not like, whoa, I need to make money off photography immediately. I think I watched some of Marla's segment yesterday, and I think she had a lot of good things to say about that. In terms of just. Depending on, whether you want to shoot portraits or product or still life, it's just like, you have to practice. Like, you have, whether it's bringing your friends in or like what I do and just finding weird stuff to shoot, like, you have to constantly be shooting. It'll only make you better, it'll build your book up, and it'll give you the confidence to, like, be out there and charge people money. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you can show them something beautiful and be like, hey, this is what you're going to get in return, like, it makes it a lot easier than anything else. I mean, like, I feel like that's how a lot of my colleagues and stuff that I know started, is just like photographing our friends and figuring out, our light or our style or whatever. And
Marla, she was mentioning also that maybe taking headshots to start is the easiest way
absolutely.
to make money, because even someone who wants to refresh their LinkedIn picture, like or picture for social networks.
Absolutely.
It's a good way, an easy way to start, and then on the side you can have personal projects. Like if you are more interested in advertising and still live photography, then you can do like what we are doing today.
Totally. I mean, shoot, I even, like, nowadays, like, I'll shoot weird, like, I'll shoot interiors and stuff like that. Like, I won't put them on my website or tell anybody about it, but it's like, I have a client in Portland that pays me well to go shoot the insides of their buildings when they renovate them, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And it's just like there can also be like little areas like that too.
Work. Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna like sell yourself on it, but at least you're getting clients, or you're feeling out how to invoice people and charge people and all that sort of fun stuff.
Thanks for the tips.
Yay!
The name of the paper is Savage. Yeah, thanks, Terry. Thank you, Terry White.
Yes. Okay. So I'm just kind of fudging around over here.
And reference of this one, so we thought it was a flamingo, but it's not. Because I'm pretty sure the flamingo is a...
It's the color of the paper, I think. Wasn't that what
flamingo, I think, is reddish.
I thought flamingos were pink.
Yeah, I think so too.
So
Maybe
I'm doing a time lapse on my phone right now.
What?
But if they go to my Instagram account, Nicolle Clemetson Studio, I think my second to the last post, I have the reference shot for what we're shooting today up on there.
Awesome.
So you can kind of see what direction we're going with it. And hopefully I can kind of style it back into that same way, because it looks super cool. So, oh my gosh, okay, I can mess with that all day long. And like stupid fake pearls with holes in them everywhere. But so we've got our little. So when I was in my studio last week trying to set this up, like I think in my head originally it was going to be like more like typical, like like a hot dog and stuff like that. And then I think I realized just like, oh, well, wait, like, where am I going to get a hot dog at 9 a.m. at Adobe sort of a thing, right?
This is what happened in July. We had Andrew Scrivani.
That's right.
The food photographer.
Like the pizza and stuff.
Pizza.
It's a good old 10 a.m. pizza,
God. We got the worst pizza in the history of pizza.
Oh my gosh, you guys are funny.
It was so changing for him. So like, I don't know what to do.
Wasn't he using like a hairdryer and stuff to like heat up the cheese?
No, like a heat
or was it a heat gun? Oh, jeez. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Well, so when I realized I wasn't going to do a hot dog situation, more like an American meal, I started looking around my studio at some of my leftover props from a few of my other shoots, and was just like, well, let's see what we can do with that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So even like for this cup, like in my original idea, it was just going to be, maybe filled with like a blue liquid or something, like something colorful and off, but like whatever. And then I remembered I had this bag of pearls, and you can kind of see it now, but like once I actually like light it and shoot it, like it's one of those double take things where you think it's just like this crazy like foaming like bubble thing. So kind of like bubbles on a soda or something like that.
Awesome.
So kind of trying to nod to sort of what the stuff would originally be that we'd put in our mouth. States.
Oh, Mitch is saying that he has a photographer in his hometown moving studios, so this photographer is selling tons of gear and with a lot of paper. Yeah, I guess if you go on eBay or I know what are the websites today, Craigslist here.
Yep, we got those.
Insane the number of equipment that you can find.
Oh man, so
Lens, yeah.
I moved into my new like private studio a couple of weeks ago, and it was the same thing in Portland. Like there was this awesome older like kind of conceptual studio photographer. He works in New York and Portland, but he like closed down his Portland studio.
Oh.
Posted a bunch of stuff on Craigslist. So remember that FOBA, that crazy camera stand that
yeah.
Andrew had? So this guy was selling it. Definitely wasn't a FOBA because those are like $15,000. It was like much older, like 9-foot tall camera stand, $200.
Yeah.
I was like shocked. I was just like, that's like, especially as a still life photographer, having like something sturdy like that to hold my camera is super duper important. And then he was an angel. He just started giving me like Apple boxes and plexiglass,
Wow.
just like all the stuff he was trying to get rid of, and was like, could see I was excited about it, you know? So, but yeah, man, like Craigslist, at least here in the States, is like, it can be a gold mine for this stuff. All right, so my next little adventure here. Oh, is there another question? I was gonna say, so now we're gonna kind of deconstruct some of the plants that we shot with yesterday. Probably cut them up a little bit, what have you. I want to create like a nice little salad of sorts over here for one of our sides.
And for the technical gear, so the technical side, what we will use. So this is the Canon 5D.
Yeah, the Canon 5D Mark III is the camera I'm shooting on.
So it's connected with USB to Lightroom CC, the classic version. So this is why when Nicolle will take a picture, you will see it live. Actually, I can try it now, so just to make sure we are not...
I don't know that any of my settings are where they should be, but I'm afraid so. I'm gonna chop up this Dayglow grass first, maybe make some little shorty noodles out of it.
Not connected? Okay, so let me unconnect and connect again.
This is fun.
And Terry, so he's in the classic version of Lightroom, working with the tethering. So you don't see the camera, Terry? Okay, so I will unplug and plug again, okay?
Working earlier.
Yeah, it was working, so not worried.
Is the light on the back of the camera flashing? Because it could be reading the card first. I noticed she had a card in there with a lot of images on it.
A what?
Is the light on the camera flashing?
No,
The card reader, I mean?
it is not. That'd be that way.
Because if you have a lot of images on the card, it has to read all those images first before it shows up.
Ah, I see.
Oh, is that why it always takes?
That's why it takes longer with more images on the card.
Interesting. Oh, I just learned something.
So if you wanted to come up quickly, just have an empty card in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
You want to restart Lightroom, maybe?
I can.
Yeah, we made it work like 20 minutes ago. So.
Yesterday, yeah. Right? Ooh, this is already looking
Wow,
pretty
this
cool.
splash screen for a Lightroom Classic is intense.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. We're just getting our little sides made here.
Okay, let's try again. Not worry, I will try to
Okay.
play with it.
Is that the repeater cable or the straight?
The repeater doesn't work. Still nothing, Terry?
Oh, try taking the card out, just out of curiosity.
Okay.
Turn it off, take the card out, and turn it back on.
Do you want me to take both cards out?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Still nothing?
Yeah, it won't let take picture.
Yeah. with
Card,
the
card.
All right, just put one of them back in then.
All right.
And we will try without the repeater after. Maybe. Okay, and remember that you can also create and share pictures. Okay, so we invite you to check the contest tab next to the chat. Theme of the day is still life.
Those are stinky.
Why stinky? The food?
Zesty ranch.
Okay, Terry, we'll try without the repeater, okay?
All right.
Still a sad story.
Still nothing?
Oh, and you took a test shot this morning. Worked
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it works. So it's not the camera. Because, the settings of the camera worked this morning.
Oh, bright orange. This is.
Wow,
That'll be a food.
that's good.
So now I'm cutting up some taffy, you guys, because it's like bright orange and pretty cool looking. So we're gonna like make some weird shapes out of this.
Could restart the computer.
Yeah.
And hopefully once I get this all styled, we'll have our camera ready. And that'll be glorious.
So Herbert is asking, question, do you use the special background paper, like this type of paper because it isn't reflective?
Yes, amongst other reasons. You know, a lot of it's for the color in general. And yeah, this particular, the seamless paper, I mean, it's specially made for, you know, these types of productions. So, I recommend it. I've tried like using, you know, some random paper that I've got on hand or something, and it's just like, like it either like absorbs the light or it captures, you know, or it like reflects all the light or makes hot spots and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, even if you need just like black or white paper, I still recommend getting a short seamless of this stuff.
Okay. Simon is asking, is it possible to connect a camera live view with Lightroom via Bluetooth? No. No. And it's not only for the live view, you know, because you transfer also the picture. So, what is the size of a raw picture now? It's crazy. No?
There,
Is
yeah.
is it 20 megabytes per picture? Or?
It's more than that.
It's more than
Maybe
that.
like 22 or 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to go through the computer. Let me know when I can plug back, Terry.
Okay. Go ahead and try it.
Okay.
Big money, don't whammies.
There you go.
Hey.
Oh, all right. So we just won't touch anything ever again. I
Just
love
making
it.
sure. Okay. Now they're
Yay.
talking.
All right,
Wonderful.
yay, you guys.
Yeah.
We're doing it. All right. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing over here, but whichever camera, I'm just like cutting up pieces of this bright orange taffy and just kind of making little twists out of it.
So this is food, by the way, in the US. Food. This is a snack in the US.
We're sorry. Oh man. So yeah, I'm kind of just, we've got like our little green grass that I cut up sort of as, I don't know, I guess I'm making noodles, if you will. Those kind of look like little like glass noodles to me. They're on the right in the green.
So Diego is asking, can I get the same picture quality with a low-end DSLR? So yeah, what would be the difference like for someone who's starting?
Oh yeah.
With
I mean, geez, guys, like I was.
A TI or like Canon, they also have like entry.
The
DSLR.
Rebels and stuff.
Yeah, the Rebels. Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, it's it's the person behind the camera that makes the images, not the camera itself. Every camera, as long as you've got the manual settings, every camera you can control your aperture, your shutter speed, your ISO, like all those important tools. So yeah, I mean, shoot, I was shooting on a Canon 40D, a camera that you can literally buy online for like $300 now, but it was at the time like their Mark III or whatever. Shoot, I was shooting on that camera up until 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I didn't want to spend, $5,000 on a new camera, and that one seemed to be producing pretty cool images.
And if it happens that I know, like you have one day of shooting for a big customer, you can also rent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So.
Oh, and renting stuff, especially if you're looking to buy like new gear and you're going to spend a pretty penny, like definitely if you've got a local rental shop in town, go there first, ask questions, take it out for a test run. I think a handful of the rental shops, if you do rent a camera body or a lens and then decide to purchase that model, they'll usually take off the rental fees from your purchase price. Or at least that's been my past experience. Okay, we've got our last little noodle. Cute! Alright, so we've created some fun colors and textures in here that I'm like pretty stoked about.
Because by the way, you are using an air remote here with the Profoto, with the strobe light.
Oh yeah.
So the idea is that when you take a picture, it sends a signal on a specific channel to have the flash perfectly in sync. And this is something that works also on the low-end DSLR. Like you don't need a 5D to make it work. Yeah.
No, the one thing, with the air remotes, like if you have a hot shoe, you can stick one of those on there. If you're not shooting with like the Profoto light system, say you're Alien Bees or Normans or Ellen Chromes or like pretty much any other strobe, then you'd be more than likely either using like a Synccord or a Pocket Wizard, which is like another brand of these air remotes that are more universal and stuff. So it's nice. Everything's like, for the most part, cord free nowadays. So I appreciate that. All right.
Okay.
So I'm feeling pretty good about what we've got going here. We definitely like did some good problem solving there with those little side dishes. Clear out some room. So what I'd like to do is I want to capture this shot, sort of like the reference photo on my Instagram account, the one that I showed you. And then I'm fascinated by the solo cup with the pearl, so I kind of want to try to do maybe a hero shot of that, like on the risers that we used yesterday. Just on like a little lower angle and kind of kind of fun. See if we can't get a couple images out of this whole scene. So, I am simply. So I don't know if you guys can see the
light
back of my camera. Oh, what was that? Oh yeah, light meter. Look at you remembering stuff that I'm forgetting. Oh, and I'll do color checker card too. Let you hold on to that for a minute.
Yeah. So let's make sure we explain.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So right now I'm just gonna get my my frame here set up.
Okay.
Without losing connection to Lightroom. So there we go. All right. So for this guy, it's like I'm shooting from like a little bit higher than angle.
Mary's new to photography. So.
Oh, hello. Well, you chose a fun place to go watch videos today then. Alright. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'm using like the live view function on the back of my camera right now. I do it a lot for still life stuff just to kind of get everything tweaked in.
Bring the GoPro closer so they can
grease off of there.
Here.
But yeah, so it's just literally a live view of what I'm seeing through the lens. And for me, it just kind of helps to get everything dialed in without having to, like, you know, sneak through that viewfinder all the time. So I'm just gonna rotate this a little bit. There we go. Ooh, I like that angle. I don't know. Whatever. We'll start shooting and then we'll start tweaking stuff. But we'll start there. And all right. So before we actually start shooting, we've got our trusty light meter. Again, as I always say, this one's very old, but it still does its job. They obviously make newer ones that are like super digital and crazy, and you just like look through them and they do magic things. So I'm an old school gal, so we're gonna read our light real quick. Oh, holy guacamole! So
what
you can kind of see what the settings are on there.
So 22.
Yeah, that light is reading right between like an f22 and a 32, so it's like hecka bright. Way too bright for my liking, so I'm gonna dial the power on that light down a bunch. Ideally, I'd like to be shooting like, or have my camera set at like somewhere between like an f11 and f16, just to get like a lot of nice sharpness throughout. All right, so we just went down about 2 full stops on the power. Check it again. Ooh, that's very nice. So you can see.
Oh, 11.
Yeah. So right now we're right between 11 and 16, right where I want to be. So we'll start there, and make sure my camera, oops, it's doing what I want it to do. So I'm gonna set my camera, let's see, at like f11, 1/25 of a second, and ISO 100.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what that light meter's telling me.
Okay.
Snapperoonie.
And with tethering now, it's going to Lightroom, and here we go. This
Cool.
is the first shot.
All right. Would you look at that?
So what do you identify?
Looking at,
Just looking at that.
yeah, just looking at that.
What is bothering you? What do you like?
Yeah, I don't like the angle that I have the oops, that I have my camera at, or that I have the plate at. Why is I know what's going on here. So I think I'm gonna rotate the tray this direction instead.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm gonna throw my live view back on so I can see what's happening. Yeah, I definitely don't want the crab like straight on the camera. I think it can be a bit more delicate. I'm kind of pushing down to the rocks. Maybe it feels a little bit more authentic.
They are chatting about the importance of megapixels, like really the role of having a lot of pixels in your shot. So does it happen that you have to crop, in your pictures and just to extract details, or?
Sometimes, I mean, I guess for the most part, I always do like a little bit of cropping in post. And a lot of that's mainly just to sort of like level an image out, or, like maybe just crop it down to the ratios that I want it, kind of like we did yesterday. This shot in particular, I'm actually like purposefully leaving all that negative space.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's just part of the story with the color. Yeah, totally. And I'm okay with that. But we are going to get it a little bit more lined up. So we're going to, ideally this is going to kind of hang out on the right third of the shot.
Yeah. If you want me to, you can direct me. If you want to check the live view and tell me.
Oh, you're sweet.
This side and stuff.
I think that feels good. We're going to snap a photo and just try to see if it's where we want it to be. Let me pull focus. Boop.
So we have Tuxarul asking, what do you use for color correction? So we will show that.
A darn fine question. So once I feel confident with where the light is and the image itself, the last thing we'll do is bust out one of these X-Rite color checker passport cards. I guess this is like the Mondo.
It's also a very old one.
It is. Gosh, I probably shouldn't say this, but I think I've had this for like 8 years. I need a new one, but they're kind of expensive, and it's not like garbage yet, so, right?
Still in good shape. Yeah.
So once, like, essentially this card is going to read our lighting setup. So once we go into Lightroom, we'll be able to like pull the information from this card and then make a camera profile, which, as you saw, if you watched yesterday, it didn't really shift anything too much in the image. I feel like with this shot, with all that pink, especially in the rocks, I think it'll probably make a nice little shift once we go into post with it. So stay tuned. We shall find out. But that's sort of where I start with my color correcting, and then from there it's just a process.
Matthias has a 60D. Yeah, 60D does the
nice.
job. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Nice body. Yeah. Nice
Do all
body
sorts
camera,
of stuff for you.
including video.
Okay, so tweak it just a little bit more that way. And that makes me happy. Oh my god, that's so like sticky and gross.
Yeah.
I literally had to wash my hands.
We have swipes, I think.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I found those baby wipes.
Yeah. Can bring some.
Can we kill some of these house lights?
Yeah.
I just kind of want to show how we're moving the shadow around here.
Ready for the dark?
Yay! Ooh, dreamy. Cool.
How is the GoPro?
That was weird, man.
It's okay. Huh? The GoPro is still doing the job more or less.
All right. So it's definitely the light got a little bit warmer in here, temperature-wise. It's kind of cool. So let's see, Michael. If we could maybe I don't know, with one of the GoPros, I kind of just want to get like a slightly, almost like my camera angle, so they can see what happens to the shadow when I'm kind of start moving this light around a little bit.
Okay, we try to move this one naturally. Okay, we try with this one.
Cool. We're getting wacky in here today. So as you guys can see, I've got my light overhead here on a boom arm directly overhead. That looks really rad when you do that. I kind of love it. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, is raise this light up a little bit more. That's going to make our shadow just a little more crisp. And then you can kind of see if I, move the light more to the front of the shot, you can kind of see the shadow, especially on the cup, kind of moving with the light, right? So my goal, or at least how I did it when I did the test shoot, is trying to find the sweet spot with that cup of pearls where the shadow sits perfectly within the circle form of the tray. Mainly because I don't really want a long shadow from that cup spilling off onto the backdrop. And it also just kind of, I don't know, it gives it kind of an interesting effect. It's like that, so I'm gonna tweak it in a little bit. And then almost there. Oh geez.
Oh, geez.
I'm so strong. Okay.
Come on, Nico.
Sweet. Okay. I think this is just gonna kind of adjust it.
Yeah, we gently put it back.
Here too. Okay, there we go. Ooh, I'm loving it. Okay, so let's.
It's insane because it's orange.
It looks orange right now. I know,
It's
totally.
orange and this is pink.
I think it's just the modeling light on this lamp is
It's crazy.
yeah, it's just got a much different hue to it. Oops.
Okay, so this is a new shot and this is without the lights of the studio.
Yeah, I'm kind
It
of
would
curious
be,
to see if that
Yeah, if it has
has any additional effects. Which more than likely might. So, alright. Pull in focus. Oops, grab one more.
Okay.
Bitchin'. Okay. So I'm really loving that harsh shadow, that really crisp shadow coming down from the lunch tray.
Yeah.
That was kind of my goal. And I do.
I like this too. Like the harsh shadows. Of
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the little two shadows coming from that. To me, it's just kind of an added little detail that maybe might bother some people, but I'm loving it. So my main thing though is I don't necessarily want. I don't want to. I just want to see the shadow. I don't want to see the leg.
Agata Milowska, she loves the shadows too.
Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, so we're gonna.
Looks like a black hole. Oh yeah, it's true. Looks like there is a hole.
Oh,
under,
weird, trippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Even the cup. Look at that.
So, in once we get this styled in, we're actually gonna bring in some fill cards to kind of fill in, especially like the cup a little bit. I want to fill in some shadows on there so it isn't necessarily so dark. But we'll maintain that shadow. Okay. What do we got?
If you look at the clock, it's 9:50.
Holy guacamole, Batman. All right. Let's do this. 9:50, like 50?
Like 50.
How does time go by so fast, you guys? I guess when you're just having a good time with good people, you know. Before you know it. Ooh, yeah, there we go. I think
Okay, it's coming.
that eliminated that.
Yeah.
Bitchin'. Okay, I love what's going on here.
I have the two shadows like vampire teeth.
Oh my god, they kind of are, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's fun. Like, I know that would normally,
someone
maybe in the
would be
past
like,
that would bother me or it would bother somebody else, but like, when you do details like that on purpose, or even if you don't do it on purpose, but you just accept it and just be like, yeah, I did that on purpose. That was my artistic decision. Alright, so this is looking dope. It is a little bit dark though. I don't know if it's reading that way to you guys. So I'm just going to raise my ISO up to 200. I don't necessarily want to change my other settings.
Okay.
Let's see maybe if that helps brighten it up, which it's going to. Whoa!
Oh yeah.
Too right. So we're going to find like a happy medium. Let's try 160.
The crab looks like escaping from plate. Yeah, I agree too.
I love it. Okay, radical. I think I'm digging the exposure on that. I'm going to tweak this cup a little bit because of the way those three pearl balls are sitting. Maybe it seem better. Maybe from that angle. Snap it again. Gosh, and one thing I love about this too that I didn't really realize until I was looking at the test shot I did last week. So like this fork is like a tiny little plastic oyster fork or whatever.
It looks.
But if you don't know that, like looking
looks
at
like
this
normal
shot,
size.
yeah, it kind of makes everything like seem gigantic.
Yeah, it looks like a
like
huge
that's a
crab.
like 32-ounce cup of pearls when it's really like 10 ounces or whatever. So I like being able to play with sort of scale and like kind of mess with people's minds sometimes if at all possible. Actually, I've been so stoked about this particular setup that I think I'm going to make maybe a 3 or 4 image series out of it because I've got a lot more of these props at home.
Herbert is asking what lens are you using now?
Same one I shot on yesterday. It's the Canon 24-70mm lens. And we're at about like just a hair under 50 millimeters. Actually, we're at exactly 50 millimeters right now. I zoom in just a touch. Sick. I love it. Okie dokie. So, oh wait, these are like literally just like formed together into a. I'm just gonna squish them in a little bit. There's like you can kind of see like some dark holes, kind of.
Oh yeah.
That's slightly distracting to me. So maybe if I just squish, it'll stick together and eliminate some of that. Oh my god, stuff's so weird. Rad. Oh yeah, that's like much cleaner. Okay.
Lens, yeah, so it's a Canon lens.
Yep.
24-70 millimeters.
Yes. Yeah, Canon and Sigma lenses are the jam. So I highly recommend them. So I think at this point I don't need baby wipes, but I'm gonna set them right here just in case. Pull the scissors back over. And I think we're gonna do some little fill card action here.
Okay.
Like, I love the darkness of the shadow under the tray, but I think we can bring in just a little bit of detail to it so it doesn't necessarily look like a big bottomless black pit. Ooh, did you like that? It was like a smooth move right there. So, let's see. I know yesterday we had that one piece of foam core.
A big one?
I mean, it was like medium. Because there's that big one there. Oh, Chris is pointing. Is it maybe behind the stringent or block thing? Oh yeah, that guy. Perfect. So Michael, we're gonna team this through. I think I might be able to hold the fill card just kind of right here in front below the lens. Yes. Perfect. Oh, actually, you know what? If you can hold that one, I can kind of. So what we're doing is we're trying to fill in that shadow a little bit from below the tray. And then with this silver card, I don't know which camera I'm looking at, with this guy, I'm gonna try to just kick a little bit of light back onto that solo cup. And you can kind of like see...
Yeah, we can feel it already.
Yeah, right? So I'll just kind of play around a little bit. I'm trying to keep everything out of the shot though, so I'm not having to remove it in post, but if we have to, we can do it. See if we get a difference there.
Okay, let's see if... So look at the shadows. Here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Definitely more details.
Yeah, see, like even just the cup, like...
Yeah, the black is...
Yeah, that made a nice difference. So we'll grab one more just to...
Yeah, thanks Terry.
Thank you,
Before
Terry.
and after. Yeah. Yeah, the cup.
Oh gosh, I'm like, do I even dare take another frame? Yeah, because I'm a photographer and that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, boom. I feel great about this. I love like where the colors are going. It looks like fun to me. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
okay. So now that we've kind of got all that dialed in. Oh shoot! And actually, Michael, if you would leave that bounce card up here just while we grab this shot. So now I'm just kind of placing my color checker card right where my subject is. And I'm gonna kind of just recreate that light we were just doing with the fill card, so everything's super in order. All right, we are good on that. Put this away nice and safe. And I think we've got time for me to do one more quick little fun shot with our pearl cup.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm moving it. Set that there, and then kind of merge sort of some of yesterday's props with today's props.
Cool.
Yeah.
In about 5 minutes, we will do a giveaway. We give away poster illustrations, okay? Prints that have been created by guests on Adobe Live during the Adobe Live show, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we had a Web Generate the Third. He was in the chat yesterday. Jingwei and Christine Herring.
Awesome.
And so to participate, it's very easy. Just get active in the chat, okay? Be active, say something, ask questions during the next 5 minutes, and we will announce the winner in about 5 minutes.
Yay. Okie dokie. So I'm just gonna do that.
And yes, and for the contest, Nicolle, she will choose the still life picture she prefers. You still have about 30 minutes to submit your entries. Make sure to check the contest tab, okay?
Alright, so guys, I'm just kind of showing you sort of, say you were shooting a series or something of some still life images, like, so what we just did was sort of that global view shot of sort of the main scene, and now I kind of want to capture a little detail here of this weird beverage that we made. Really just trying to get these are all like fake pearls, so I'm trying to just rotate the holes away from the lens, so, I mean, obviously that's an easy Photoshop fix, but totally. Alright, that looks like a winner to me. And for this I kind of want to go almost like a hero angle on it, so we're gonna get the camera a little bit lower. And because the camera's going to be lower, I won't really be seeing the shadow that the light's going to cast. So now I can kind of, deal with the light a little bit differently. So we're still going to go from overhead, but I am going to rotate it just
tilt it. Okay.
Towards. Yeah, so hopefully we're going to light up the front of that cup a little bit. I'll probably bounce a little bit of light in there. Yeah. That. Lower this. Okay, am I doing it right? What is it? Righty tighty, lefty loosey? It worked this morning. Okay, I'm just gonna do it with my hands. It's also fun to hold a camera as a photographer sometimes. Oh. Okay. That's cool. It kind of works. Alright guys, so let's Alright, so I'm bringing this cup kind of a little bit up to the edge of that box there. Oh, I'm just gonna kind of see what stuff looks like. I think it's gonna be pretty low. And who knows, this could look terrible, but we're gonna find out. Yay! I'm so confident in myself, it's great.
I think, the contest, we do it every week. So on behance.net/live, we are now live every week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Today we have 4 shows of 2 hours, and you can get a chance to win during each show. Wow, look at that shot.
Yeah, I don't like that at all, so...
Oh my god.
It's like,
What's
nah.
happening?
Let's see.
The pink is blooming. I mean, that's the reflection of the pink is...
Yeah, I wasn't expecting.
Was not
I wasn't expecting that.
No, me neither, because there's no way to see it here.
I'm like, well, maybe it's more interesting from this type of angle.
Okay.
This wasn't planned, team. This was me just being like, this is pretty. I want to photograph it. So, let's see. Actually, Michael, would you want to jump in there with a fill card? We can kind of try to... Big boy. Ah, that one might actually work.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. So this is slightly interesting. I don't know, the shadows are kind of goofy and stuff, but you know, if I had all day, I'd probably just play around with this in studio for a while and kind of figure out where I can make things look the coolest. But I'm just gonna try to bullseye that shadow. Make it super even. I love my level of confidence sometimes.
Yeah.
Alright. Focus. Cool. I don't know. I think that looks kind of fun and weird and cool.
Oh, yeah.
I'll live with it. Let me grab one more, though, because the right side of that top box is going to give me nightmares. Cool.
See?
Ah, that's weird. That one does totally look like a black hole, like,
Oh, yeah.
situation.
Even the shadows on the table is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you feel that even this piece is on the whole. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it's three-dimensional.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy, right? Cool.
It's tricky, huh? Like
Because
optical
it is
illusion.
three-dimensional.
Guess what? Life is in 3D.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna do one more,
Wow.
Michael, with that
Yeah.
fill card, just because it's fun. Alright. Get it actually centered this time. Cool. Yeah, so if I had more time, I'd probably, play around with the lighting a little bit more, try to make those table shadows and stuff like super crisp, which would really just require me to get that light up as high as I can. And then who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'd put something under the cup to eliminate the shadow, but I also kind of like how trippy it is.
Yeah, there's something weird.
If we're looking to mess with people's heads, I suppose we did a great job. Cool. I think that does it for photo shooting.
Yeah. Do you want the color correction for this one?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Artist.
That's why I keep good assistants
don't
like
see
you
the fun in it.
because I
Think
always
bigger,
forget to do it.
But keep it simple.
So, yeah, you know what? I think we can just lean it.
Okay.
Just
That's
make it pop.
Cool. All right, we have our information.
It feels too designed.
Boom.
Trust
All right, I'm turning my camera off.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
you can turn it off. Awesome.
Party.
Okay. Thank you, Nico.
Good job, everybody. Thank you,
Let's
Michael.
see. I will let you now work with Terry White.
Oh,
and
yes.
See, what you can make with these pictures.
I think we can make some pretty cool stuff. What do you
Okay.
think, Terry?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
It looks too designed.
It looks too designed. Make it pop.
Make it
You're
pop.
adorable. Oh, let me see if I can find my
Make it less
glasses.
stocky. Yeah. Yeah, we have this hovering art director. Have you met this guy? The hovering art director.
Oh, your tiny statue? Yeah,
Yeah.
I made some terrible comment about it last time. Oh yeah, that's right, he talks too. Hey dude.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
You're back?
I'm back.
So, let's see what you did.
Oh jeez.
Oh, geez. All right. Let's turn off the tethering. And for those of you watching in the chat who weren't here yesterday, we did all of this in Lightroom Classic CC. So as she was taking the shots, you were seeing them pop up because her camera was connected directly to this computer, and we were using the tethering feature of Lightroom Classic CC.
You'll thank me when we're in camp.
All right. We're gonna
Get him outta here.
We're gonna turn him off for right now. And
goodness gracious.
wow, you didn't take nearly as many as yesterday. You
I
kind of
know.
got this pretty quickly.
It was funny when I did the test shoot last week, like this is the last of the 3 shots that I tested, and like I didn't, I wasn't fully sure of what I wanted it to be, but it was like as soon as I started playing with my props and setting it up, I was just like, oh, and I threw the light up and I was just like, oh, this is great.
There we go.
Like, so I think that shot probably took me 30 or 40 minutes.
All right, so for those of you who are new to Lightroom Classic, it basically has a tethering feature built in. I just hit Start Tether Capture, gave it a folder name and a session name and a starting number, and I also told it to add to a collection that is also synced with Lightroom Mobile or Lightroom CC. So these are the 23 shots that came in. Of course, the very first one being literally just testing the light, just making sure the camera still worked, all the way down to the final ones with the color checker. So if I remember correctly, we need to convert at least those 2 to DNGs.
Correct, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and select these 2. The color checker software that she's using has to work with a DNG file. So DNG, for those of you who are new, is the non-proprietary standard for RAW. So instead of the CR2s or the NEFs or the whatever your camera shoots, I'm going to use Lightroom to convert the standard or the non-standard RAW files coming from the camera to DNG format. So they'll still be RAW, they'll still have all the RAW properties, but they'll be in a universal format that most software can recognize and work with. All right, so those 2 have been converted to DNG. And if I remember correctly, we're going to go look at those in the operating system. So we're going to go say show in Finder. I can never see that command. Go to, because I'm doing more than one at a time. That's why. There we go. Show in Finder.
Nice.
And our DNG is there with the one I just selected plus the other one. Do we do those one at a time to build the 2
Correct.
profiles?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the color checker passport software is here. And yes, and we're going to go ahead and just simply drag the first DNG in. And what this will do is build a profile that we can use to apply to all the image, or at least the final images in Lightroom. Ooh, that one did not work as
Sure
good as
didn't.
the other one. So what do we do in this case? Zoom out?
Yeah, you should be able to zoom out with that little magnifier, maybe an Alt. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
And then if you hit below the magnifier, those little buttons, the one below it, it'll clear it. And now you should have like a cross.
I do.
Or whatever. So you just pretty much click the 4 corners of that card where that little X is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then it'll
okay.
kind of find it or map it out, ideally on its own. Yeah.
I was prepared for you to tell me, okay, now you've got to click the brown and sell it just brown. You got to click that.
Wouldn't we both be so sad?
That's why I was kind of a little depressed when it came up and it wasn't around. I was like, oh no, I got to go tell it
Sweet.
each one of these colors one by one.
Oh,
No, that's extremely cool. And it probably didn't detect it because it doesn't look like it was flat against the
Totally.
camera. Yeah.
Sometimes it'll, get a little weird.
All right, so now that we've told it what the card is and it's mapped out all the colors, we can go ahead and say create the profile. And what do you want to call this one?
Crab
That was
lunch.
the crab lunch. Okay. Very descriptive.
Thank you.
Crab lunch.
And just so you guys know too, like color checker card, it's not like you have to do this. I do it for myself just because of the colorful nature of my work, and I want to make sure that like I'm not losing any information, throughout that sort of process.
Okay.
But the one thing that these cards are really super duper handy for is if you're shooting like batches of, like, say you're shooting a bunch of product stuff on white, by running this card through that lighting setup, you're gonna kind of help guarantee yourself sort of a across the board continuity in your color. So especially for client work, that can be very important.
All right.
What?
You
did it again.
Did it again. All right. So if I remember correctly, zoom out and then clear it. And does it matter that it's sideways?
No.
Doesn't matter.
I'm curious though about how shadowy it is, so it might not work for this one. We might just pull the use the same card as that last shot.
Let's see.
Because we didn't really change the light too much.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, because have you done it sideways like this before?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't know if it needed to have the colors in the same order. Oh, it doesn't care. Okay. All right. Create profile, and this one's going to be
Bubbles.
bubbles. Trippy cup.
Trippy cup.
Trippy 3D bubble cup with pearls. All right. I'm very descriptive in my naming.
It's beautiful.
Error extracting the colors.
Okay.
Make sure the marks are. Ooh, yeah, because I couldn't see the marks.
It's I think it's because it's so dark on those top two rows.
I see what you're saying.
So it's not reading the true colors. So you know what? Let's not
just let it go.
do that. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna.
All right.
So we'll just use the other.
All right. So we got
profile.
one.
Yay.
So what we can do is you tell me which ones you want to apply it to.
You're doing great.
Oh. We just got love from Chris. Okay. Which ones?
So I guess we're gonna do.
We could apply it to all of them, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
why not? Why
all
not
right, so
set
we
us
can
up for
say
success?
select all and not that one, not that one, not that one.
Cool.
Go into the develop module, into the camera profiles, and instead of the default Adobe standard, we're going to choose not the bubble.
Oh shoot, we didn't restart Lightroom.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You
Ayo.
told me that.
I forgot.
In order for the profile to be read in Lightroom, it needs to be rebooted. The new profile, that is. Mm-hmm. All right, so we'll just reboot it real quick.
Can I steal one of those bottles of water? Actually, may I just have it? Thank you.
All right, there we go. Now we'll go into the develop module, and we go to color calibration, and there it is, crab lunch.
Nice.
Yeah, it made a difference. It made more of a difference today than it did yesterday.
Well, especially those pink rocks, man, they have a tendency to just get oversaturated and what is it when the colors start to lose their texture and stuff because there's so much saturation in them?
They start getting muddy and filled in.
Yeah. It looks like you just used a paint tool on it or something, or a paint bucket.
All right, so now that that's been applied,
Cool.
you know what? Let me undo my deselect. And just for safekeeping, I'm going to go ahead and save those metadata changes to the actual DNG files. That way I know the color profile is applied to the actual files on the hard drive. All right. So that one collection is syncing right now. We don't have to wait for it because we're going to switch over to the new Lightroom CC to kind of continue this process. So Let's pop over. And they're already there, but they're, as I described yesterday, they're there only as smart previews because that's all Lightroom Classic has always synced to the cloud. It's only synced the low-res smart preview, no, not low-res, but smaller res smart previews. So we want to get these replaced with the actual raw files in Lightroom CC. Yes. So that way it backs those up to the cloud, syncs those to all the devices, and away we go. And away we go. So this was day 2. And we'll just say,
you're spelling my name right. That's exciting.
I got corrected today.
Did you?
So I was
I shouldn't have said nothing.
Michael was like, there are 2 L's. I was like, oh, let me fix that.
It's like my name hasn't been spelled right the whole time I've been in San Francisco, or my
Because
whole
actually,
life,
I saw it in the lower third, and I thought it was a typo. I was like, did they type
that can't
wrong?
be right.
All right, so we'll go ahead and add these back in, which again, It just happens pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And we'll make sure we're in the right collection this time. I did that mistake at the end yesterday.
Oh, no.
And so what it's doing now, if we go look at one of these, it should say original file instead of smart preview. And it's syncing the high res or the raw file up to the cloud. And eventually these will say original in the cloud as well. But we don't have to wait for that.
Now that syncing process,
Yes.
is that happening is that happening only when Lightroom's open, or it's as long as you're logged into your Creative Cloud, like
It
from that little
happens
thing up
as
top?
long as you think about it.
Ooh.
No, I'm kidding. No, you have to, it has to
Dang.
be. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? It's like, I want you to back my files
Right.
up. I'm going to go to sleep now and just think
Someday
about it.
that
and
is
let
literally
it
going
happen.
to be a
But
thing.
no, the app has to be open.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
All right. What's
Sweet.
next?
Well, let's make our selects, which I can pretty much already tell you which ones they
Oh,
are.
but before we do
Oh.
that, since this one finished, let's go check just to make sure I'm telling the truth. Yes, original file, and now it says original file backed up.
Awesome.
So that means that this machine crashes, get your new machine, pull down the original files back to your new machine.
Gosh, I need to do some serious like reorganizing of my files just to utilize the cloud for that. Like,
Yeah.
shoot, my computer got stolen out of my car, I guess it was about 2 years ago now, and it was like, you know, my hard drive with a shoot I just did the day before that I hadn't gotten backed up because I was literally on my way to the studio to do such a thing.
Yeah.
And like, just the most devastating things. Luckily, the images from that shoot were still on the card in my camera, so like,
And my
but-
horror story was part of my last Iceland trip got the card or the drive that it was on. I was
Yeah.
using an external drive, got corrupted, and I had all my stills, I had all my raw files backed up, but some of the videos I hadn't backed up yet, and I was in the process of editing the video.
oh no.
And that's when the drive died, and it was like, that's it, they're gone. Now, I could, of course, use a recovery company to bring that drive back, but it just taught me that valuable lesson of
you feel this emptiness inside when it
you
happens.
always need to have all your
Back it up,
files
you guys.
in at least
Back it
3
up.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't follow my
And I'm
own
still
advice.
not great at it, but I know it, and so I keep
Yeah.
trying to do better.
Well, that was my painful reminder of
Yeah,
I
totally,
need to be doing
man.
this. Yeah, so
Never
Lightroom
again. And
CC
insurance is really cool too for stuff.
And luckily, it only hurt me. It was just my
Yeah.
work. But if I had been doing that for a client, I flew all the way to Iceland and come back and lost the data.
It's like giving
Yeah.
me tiny panic attacks,
Right,
like
so,
thinking about it
Yeah,
totally.
don't not back up your
Yeah.
files. Okay,
Shit's real.
selection process.
Okie dokie. So,
Where do you want to start?
I think for the
Like up
crab
here?
lunch, yeah, let's like start there, and we can kind of see those subtle differences that we made going through. So it looks
Okay.
like that was
So what we're doing now is
Before
we're
film.
playing the reject, pick, or it's okay.
yeah,
So it's okay meaning we won't flag
yeah,
it.
like it's not garbage.
Right, it's not garbage, but it's maybe not the greatest one. And
Totally.
the pick would be it's a candidate for to be the greatest one, and a reject means I'm never going to use it.
Yep,
So I might as well delete it.
totally.
Okay?
So that one's good.
It's okay.
Meh.
Meh.
Eh. It got a little like dark and goofy.
Yeah.
Ooh, you see we just turned the cup a little bit? That looks nice.
Oh, okay. Yep.
All right, digging it. And then onward. Ooh. I think that
Now,
was when
is
I
it
zoomed into
ooh?
the 50
I have to
millimeter.
translate. Is it ooh a pick or no?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll say ooh's a pick.
It was a pick.
Good
All right.
question. Ooh, I tightened that one up. We'll ooh that one as well.
All right.
I think we brought in some fill. Let's see what the next one looks like. Yeah. I think that
I'm
might
going
be
to
the
say
winner.
yes, probably a pick. Ooh,
Yeah.
that might be the winner. Mm-hmm. All right, so sometimes now, again, there's no rule book. There's no law to this. So a pick can just be a pick, but if you have 10 picks, then which the best pick?
Mm-hmm.
So usually I'm doing picks, and if it's really like my favorite so far, like I think that's going to be the winner, then it might be a pick and 5 stars. So that way
Yeah.
I know that the ultimate picks are the
Yep.
ones with 5 stars.
Like, so what I always do in Lightroom, like when I'm going through the editing process for a shoot, is like, actually, I'll sit there and kind of go through the images fairly quickly, just, kind of like looking at them, sort of pass through. And then I'm usually like using the P to flag them or whatever. And then I'm just like sitting there pretty much flagging anything that looks good.
Okay.
Because it's pretty obvious to see like a bad shot, especially if it's a portrait, eyes closed or weird
Right,
face or
yeah.
whatever. Kind of
Yeah, those
same
would
with
be-
these a little bit.
Yeah, those would be my instant rejects.
Yeah, and then I'll
Yep,
go through
right.
the flags and
Another-
then star those.
Yeah,
like you were
another
saying.
method might be 3, 4, 5 stars. So 3
Which is
okay.
kind of how I do, yeah.
3 is okay. 4 is better. 5 is really good.
And it's nice because then you can go back, kind of what you were saying yesterday, like stepping away from an image for
Yes.
the night,
Definitely.
seeing it with new eyes or whatever. I feel like that by sort of doing the 3, 4, 5 stars, it gives your brain an opportunity to rest and then come back the next day and be like, okay, were those did I categorize those properly? You know, like,
So yeah, come up with your own methodology, whatever works for you. Picks, stars,
It's art.
reject,
We
yeah,
get to do whatever we
whatever. Putting your favorites in a different album, whatever works for you.
heck yes.
All right, where were we on this one? This was a pick.
I feel like
All right.
yeah,
That's
that
a
was
color checker.
actually the
That
winner
was the one.
there.
All right,
Yep.
so let's make that one a 5-star too. So I just basically hit 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4 for the number of stars. Color checker.
Nope.
Nope. So we're going to make that a reject, which is the letter X. Nope. Reject.
Nope. Oh,
Get in
now
there.
it's like we're feeling it a little bit.
All right.
We're in the building and we're feeling ourselves. All right. Right.
No comment. All right.
All right. I think I did a couple little tweaks after this one. Yep. It's funny. Sometimes I find it's usually when
even
I'm.
just the angle. Look at the difference in the angle there.
Yeah, I think that second one, the one we're on right now, I think is pretty dope. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
see,
that
was
was
the
it.
last one.
All right.
So much fun.
So when you go back to the grid and you look at your rejects will be the ones that are dimmed out as well. So you can just kind of visually, when you're looking at the grid, the ones that are dim, are the bad ones.
I like that.
And one of the things I always teach photographers is that if you were confident enough to make it a reject, then that means you're confident enough to say goodbye to it.
Trust your guts.
Right. So if you're unsure, if you're saying, well, maybe I'll use it, maybe the client will like it, then it's not a reject. A reject is absolutely, it's got to go.
Garbage photo.
Right, garbage photo. I'm never going to use it. It's just tying up
Nobody
space.
needs to see it. You
No
don't need to
one
look
needs to
at
see
it. Like,
I got better ones. There's no reason I would ever come back to it.
and it's hard. Like I get it. Like these are our babies.
Yeah,
Like it's hard
I know.
to
Hard to let go.
Yeah,
And
let go of our
I guess
babies.
some photographers argue with me. It's like, no, I can never delete a photo. Oh, okay.
We're like, have fun paying for all that storage space.
Keep storing everything you ever take that you never use. Okay, but so what we'll do is we'll just simply tell it to show us the rejects. There they are. And so we just filter down on those, and we're just going to go ahead and say, it is time to say goodbye to these 4 photos. Goodbye. Delete 4. Are you sure?
Sure am.
Because it's like, this is your last shot to cancel. If you are absolutely sure, they are gone for good.
I do appreciate that. It's like you're uncertain of yourself sometimes, Nicole. Like, how do you feel? All right.
Yeah. Okay, so now, and by the way, by clearing out those bad ones, that just feels better because now you're only looking at the good ones.
Exactly.
You're
Oh, that's
looking
my
at
favorite thing.
Right, you're only looking at the ones that have potential or the ones that are really good.
Yeah, potential.
All right, what's next?
Oh, thanks, Jan, for the Unreal 3D generated. Like I like it when my images can kind of mess with
pop,
people's heads
yeah.
a little bit, So good, thank you. Okay, well, should we?
All right, what do you want to do?
Let's start with the Krabby Lunch, our 5-star
Our
guy,
5-star?
because that's kind of our
I
hero
guess
of the
we're going to
day.
make this one, since we're going to keep it consistent, that's our
Oh, yeah.
5-star there too.
Perfect.
And let's edit, maybe.
Like, cool, it's perfect. Let's go. Huh? Just kidding.
All right, so as we
Sassy.
talked about yesterday, one of the first things we're going to do is enable the lens
Yes.
correction. Because see how that even got just a little bit brighter with the lens correction? So you don't want to waste a lot of time adjusting the exposure or the contrast or whatever, and then only to have lens correction change it.
Yeah. It's
So
like, nope.
start with the lens correction, and then go back up and do whatever else you want to do to it.
Hey, Michael. Could you, my phone, I have doing a time lapse under that microphone. Could you stop it? I totally forgot. It's just like, that's just going to kill the battery. Right? Or did it already, my phone's probably dead. Right?
It's already playing.
Oh, all right. Well, then we're good. Sorry. I just remembered that. Cool. Man, it's so fresh and clean. Where do we go? So I guess just, from kind of looking at it offhand, I can see, a couple things that are sort of bothering me about this image.
Okay.
Mainly the two little side dishes that I created. The colors on there, I think, could be better.
Okay, in what way?
Well, definitely like the orange on the left. I feel like that's just it looks like old macaroni and cheese. Oh, gross. I love it. That is gnarly. So I think maybe let's play around with the hue
Of
and
just
stuff
that
on the
area?
orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then in that case, since she only wants to adjust part of the photo, then what we need is a local adjustment. So we're going to go ahead and switch to the adjustment brush.
Tell me more.
And I'm going to just reset this back to, can I double click? Yep, double click these to reset them back to 0. That way we're not making any changes right off the bat. But actually, you know what? I will make an exaggerated exposure change. That way I'll know what I've painted.
I like that.
Yeah. So it will dial that back down, of course.
Okay, cool.
All right. I don't know it's got a cap on it. But
Weird.
let's go ahead. Yeah. So that way we can see it get brighter.
Oh, God,
but
I
that's
don't
only,
mind the brightness too a little bit.
that's only to let me know what areas I've painted with or
Awesome.
painted on. All right.
Yeah, I need to use the brushes in Lightroom more often.
Okay. So now that we've got that, then we can, again, we don't have to keep it bright. We can make it brighter. We can make it darker. Oh, darker actually shows me areas
Oh
I might
yeah,
have
it shows
missed
you a little
too.
more, huh? That's a smart kind of trick there for the brushes too.
Yeah, because I'm always missing spots
same,
that I
yeah.
can't see. And that way this lets me know, okay, you got it. Now we can dial that back up. And now we can make any adjustments we want because we know we have that area masked off.
Awesome.
All right, so what do you want to do?
Let's maybe bust into the hue saturation stuff.
The hue saturation stuff.
Did we get there?
Let's
I guess
see. That might, I don't know if that's part
might
of
it
a
just be
local.
saturation.
Saturation we can obviously do.
So maybe
So that's
beef that
too
up a little
much.
bit.
That's too little.
let's go like a +10 on it. Just
Ooh, I love
I
some
know,
dollars and
right?
numbers. Here we go. +10.
Cool. And then I'm actually can we raise the exposure on that to
Sure.
like another to +10 as well?
+10 on the exposure.
Brighten that up a little bit.
Hold on, did I type something wrong? I did. That was
Oh,
operator.
whoa.
That was operator error. Oh wait, what am I? Oh, I'm going too far. That's why.
You're taking it too far, man.
Yeah, these are in stops. So let's.
Ooh, actually, about a quarter of a stop is great.
So 25.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't go 10 stops brighter.
Sure can't.
All right, so a quarter of a stop brighter.
Cool. Can we go a little more global view on the image so I can
Sure.
sort of see what we're dealing with?
Let's get out of the brush for a second.
I do like that new brush panel and stuff. That's really, really sweet. Okay, cool.
Better?
Yeah, that's looking good. And then kind of, well, I mean,
Do you want to do something to this one?
yeah, it's looking like a little, it's less colorful than it should be.
Okay, so right now, if we go to the brush, then it's showing us all the adjustments we just made to this part of the photo. And it's showing us the adjustment dot, which is actually showing us a good before and after.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
that's what we've done to it. Now, if we want to adjust this area, but with different adjustments, then we need to add a new one.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and just click the plus sign. And now we're adding a brand new one with the same adjustments so far, but it is not affecting the other one or any other part of the image.
Totally.
Or I should say it's not affecting the first one. So again, we can try the same thing. Let's reset the saturation back down. And let's do the exposure down so we can really see what areas I missed. There we go.
Cool.
All right, now we can reset that exposure back up. And what do you want to do?
Let's bump the contrast up on that a little bit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Contrast slider going up. Now, oh,
Ooh, there
yeah,
we
it starts
go.
to make a difference at really high numbers.
Yeah.
So maybe a plus 40.
40. I like it. Awesome. Yeah, just gave it a little bit more poppiness. And then let's push the saturation
So that was,
up on
look at how
too.
far we went. That was before,
Holy crap.
after. Okay.
Okay. And then, ooh, maybe a tiny bit of clarity.
Actually, that's our before and after. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there we go. Okay.
Yeah, because
I
it
was
wasn't
gonna
that bad. I was going to say, it wasn't that dark to begin with. Sorry. I was showing a different
Psych.
thing. That was our mask, not our before and after.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing.
Totally.
Okay, got it.
So let's see, a little clarity on the grass probably wouldn't kill it.
I love clarity. Yeah, let's give it more punch,
there we go.
more
A
detail.
little more depth and stuff for sure.
All right, maybe not that high. Maybe like a 30.
Ooh,
You tell me.
I like it.
Okay.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Alrighty, and then maybe bust up that saturation by about 15 or so.
All right, 15 it is.
Seems like a good. I'm the type of person when it comes to like the sliders in both Photoshop and Lightroom, where it's like, aside from just like playing with the slider to see what it does, like I always take it up to where I visually think that it looks best. And then it's like that self-editing thing where I always like bring it down just a little bit.
On
it looks
display.
insane.
Right.
Yeah. Hella crazy.
Yeah. So you guys are seeing like the extreme version. This is a lot cleaner over here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that looks neon.
It does.
Over there.
And ideally, I'm gonna sit down and do a full retouch on this image, like I did with the other one. So tomorrow we can kind of see that full thing busted out. But I think it looks good over here. So I'm happy to kind of move on from that. And then let's go into just our overall develop.
Sure.
Module, and I kind of want to adjust some hues on some of the colors, but it's okay if it's like a broad
you got your adjust for color
thing.
Here.
So let's go into the blues.
Which blue? This blue?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it's gonna read for that tray.
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see.
Oh,
yep,
that's
that
the one.
That's the one.
Radical. Okay, so I definitely love it to the left going. And can we slide that hue around a little bit? I just kind of want to see if we can maybe do anything with it without making it go super funky. Actually, somewhere right around there, I'm okay with.
Plus maybe 20 or 15?
Let's
try 15 first.
Yeah, let's do 15. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
And then luminance on that, let's go up with that about 15 as well. Yeah, brighten it up a little bit. And then the greens. And let's do luminance down on that a little bit. Just like a -10 maybe. See if it, and it brings that together.
Okay, here's your before. Here's your after.
Awesome. Very cool. Ooh, I like how those blues changed. And then, gosh, that super dark green on the crab. I'm wondering, that might be something I just have to
that might be a Photoshop.
Yeah, so we'll leave that as is. And then let's bust into, I guess either let's go into the magentas. See what we can do over there. And let's mess with the hue a little bit.
Negative or positive?
I don't know. Ooh, let's go positive? Ooh, yeah, I kind of like.
See how that can go all the way from purple to red.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of digging. Yeah, about like that looks actually pretty great to me right there.
Right.
Yeah, so we just kind of warmed up that magenta a little bit, or at least got a little bit warmer over here, I suppose. And let's boost up the saturation on the magenta just a little bit, like maybe like a +5.
All right.
Okay. So, subtle differences.
Again,
Very subtle changes.
That's where we started.
Cool.
And this is where we are now.
Awesome.
All non-destructive edits in Lightroom CC.
That's fantastic. Let's see. Colors look good. Let's see what the red does to those rocks in that module. Maybe shift the hue to the left a little bit.
Not doing a big difference there. No, I think that was more the magenta.
That was the magenta.
Yeah, the magenta.
Okay. Sometimes it gets a little bit tricky. Cool. Okay, so I'm glad we got our colors kind of dialed in. Now I'd love to sort of mess around more with the white and black clipping and all of our contrast bits. So let's raise the shadows up I'm kind of curious to see maybe like a 15. That's going to be...
Not a big difference.
Let's
Let's see.
slide it some more.
Yeah, that's at 100. That's way down.
Okay, so maybe 25. Right. See, I'm just trying to pull like a little more information out of those dark shadows, both on the crab and sort of that line, the shadow of the tray. Yeah, that feels good. There's still some nice like dark tones in there.
Okay.
Cool. And let's go global again and then see what our whites do if we bring those up a little bit. Kind of, I'm always like in the like curve panels. I'm like a huge fan of like the S curve, like raising up those highlights, bringing the shadows down. I feel like, yeah, that kind of brightened it up a little bit, right?
It
Kind of
did.
an overall sort of good feel. Oh yeah, heck yeah. Okay, I like that right where that is. Shoot, what else? Well, I'm like, what else do we do in Lightroom? I feel good about...
You got the shadows.
Temperature.
The blacks look good the way they are. And probably
Yeah.
mess with those. Any more? Maybe some more contrast.
Yeah, let's do like a touch more, a little contrast.
And also we have clarity.
You are correct. We sure do.
So again, over contrast, under contrast.
Yeah, just
So
like
maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, like a nice 10. I love it. And then yeah, let's maybe go like, I don't know, an 8 on clarity.
Too much clarity. Too little clarity.
Weird.
Right. So you said 8.
Yeah.
8 it is.
Just a nice little punch, if you will. And what's the dehaze do on a shot like this?
yeah.
Right? Ooh.
It really affects the background
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
sure does. Man, I kind of like it like, like a +10 or something over there.
All right.
It's like part of me feels like it undid a little bit of what
Yeah,
we did, but it's
keeping
okay.
that number down a little bit is okay.
Yeah, well, and when I go into Photoshop too, then I'm going to do all my adjustment layers.
Right.
I kind of do like a second round of this. So like in Lightroom, I always try to be like subtle in my changes, knowing that like I'll probably do bigger stuff,
Cool.
bigger things. Don't we have like a contest or something
We
to
do. We do. Are the contest entries ready?
Not yet. Okay,
Okay.
we have a
We'll-
couple minutes on the
We'll
contest.
keep waiting for that.
Cool.
All right. Anything that you would take this in? I know you take it in Photoshop and do all your normal retouching, but anything that bothers you right off the bat that you might want to go there for?
I mean, I know for a fact
Well,
that...
before let me ask you another question before you answer my first question.
Totally, man. What you
All
got?
right, so I'm random like that. Does this bother you, or does that
love
add?
it.
You love it? Okay. 'Cause
It was in my original test shoot. I had the same thing. And I was just like, oh
my
no.
eye keeps going to these, and I know what they're from, but it's like,
It just to me, it almost it gives like a slight bit of life to the crab by
Okay.
having it be off a little bit like
All right.
that. So yeah, but it's it's stuff like that. I think is completely personal choice.
oh, that's why I asked you.
So yeah, totally.
It's your image. That's why I asked.
Oh, you're sweet. I like it.
Okay.
So okay, then to your other question. So I know right offhand, like going into Photoshop.
All right. So let's show that workflow because
Cool.
yesterday
Yeah,
we
man.
ran out of time a couple times. So
We did.
we made all of our local adjustments or local and global adjustments that are non-destructive here in Lightroom. And if you saw something that you wanted to do in Photoshop, that Lightroom couldn't do, you wanted to clone something, you wanted to add more layers, you wanted to add text, you wanted to composite something, you wanted to remove it from the background. Those are all things that Photoshop does, no problem, but Lightroom can't do. So you might say, well, why did you even adjust it in Lightroom at all? Because this becomes our non-destructive original. This has got everything done to it up to this point that we can always go back and tweak. And if I now want to go do something extra, I can do that right from Lightroom into Photoshop. So let's go into File, Edit in Photoshop, and what that will do is it will make a copy of the image, open it in Photoshop, and then when we return back to this album, it will stack it with the original.
It's pretty amazing.
And here it comes. Okay, so now we're in Photoshop CC 2018, and we can do anything now.
Ooh, exciting. Okay. let's put us to work, Terry.
All right. What do you want to do?
So I know first thing I would love to do is I want to play with the color of our orange taffy salad, if you will. I almost like, to me it almost looks too much like potential real food. Like it does kind of have like a poorly made macaroni and cheese quality to it. I'd like to change it to a different color to make it more surreal looking.
And what's your method for doing that?
So, what's your method for doing?
I know, it depends on what color you
You're
want.
like, I don't have any methods.
No, I have one.
I know
It
you
depends.
do.
It depends on what you want to do.
So, I mean, I guess in my... So that I'm completely self-taught
That's
in
fine.
all of this stuff. So, like, I always get so embarrassed when I have to describe my methods.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I know you're not.
I want to do it the way you would do
Okay.
it. And by the way, there is no... as long as you're achieving the results you want, there is no right or wrong. There
you
are
for saying
methods that might be faster for some people than others. So people will light up in the chat and say, "Oh, I would have done it this way," or "I would have done it this way," and I always say, "Great, do it that way." That's
I always feel self-conscious about it. 'Cause I'm just like,
don't.
Last time I was here, like, Michael was just giving me shit about how I was like selecting things because like I was doing it like in a very like inefficient way.
But
inefficient.
if I see something like that, I will let you know that there's another way
I love
if
it.
you want.
Let's learn together.
But if you're happy doing it your way, that's your way.
All right, cool. I like it. Well, so I'm thinking. Oh, hello.
Hello.
Goodbye. Okay, so I think I want to change it to like kind of a deeper blue.
Okay.
Because that just seems strange enough to me. So I guess what I would normally do, is make a duplicate layer and then use one of my selection tools to select the macaroni taffy.
All right. So which one? I was going to go for quick select, but you tell me.
It's either like the quick select tool or the wand are kind of the two that I do the most.
That's fine.
Depending on
so we got quick select there.
Oh. Yeah, that was
there
pretty easy, huh? Well, wouldn't you know? I mean, that looks pretty. I mean, we could refine it and stuff, but
like get that little blue spot out of there. Let's make the brush smaller. Hold down our Option or Alt key to deselect that.
Beautiful. All right. Cool.
All right. Same thing over here.
Yeah.
One that I didn't even see at first.
Radical.
Then down in here. Oh shoot! Sorry.
I know, it's my life story. I'm never pressing the right buttons, man.
All right.
It's so cool watching you work on this giant tablet thing. Like, I know it has a name, but...
Wacom Cintiq.
Yes.
So what I try and do is just because I know I'm going to miss stuff is I kind of just visually walk my way around the image to that way I can see edges and things I probably would have missed. Oh. So going around the edge, see I would have missed that. Going around the edge. Maybe add a little bit more back in there.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Oh, wait.
Uh-oh. Yes.
All right. What else?
Yeah. That
We got
works for
our
me.
Oh, what happened there? I thought I did this one.
I did too. I watched you do it, man. Cool.
All right.
So then normally I'll go up top and hit the select and mask button to kind of refine that mask or see if there's anything I need to do further to it.
So again, I'm not sure where this one defaulted to. It defaulted to on black. We can also do the onion skin. Oh, there's another. The other layer is behind it. That's what's making this.
Oh, gotcha. I'm like, wait.
That's not doing anything. Yeah,
Okay, so
the
yeah.
other layer's behind it.
Cool.
Let's see it on. I'm just trying to decide which
like
way I want to look at
overlay,
it. Overlay is
kinda.
good. Okay.
Yeah. Block out those other colors. Cool. I mean, there's, tightening. There's always tightening up to do on selections
Yeah, we could
and things.
also
but...
do maybe a little shift edge, kind of
Oh, yeah,
pull it in a little bit more, or out a little bit more, in a little bit more, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Radical.
All right.
Cool. I can live with that. And then normally, I guess what I do is I'll output to a new layer with a layer mask, just so I can
Works for
still
me.
tweak it more if I need to without losing that selection.
Okay.
Cool.
So now we have just that.
So now we have just that. Gosh, and then what do I do? Oh, shoot. You know what? Because we're doing a color replacement. Can we go back to where it was selected? I actually wanted to save it out as just a
Sure.
selection. I apologize. There we go. So,
Actually, we don't need to do. Yeah, okay. We got our selection. I'm just thinking of different ways to do it.
I know, right? I know. Same here. I'm just like, "Ugh." So, and then I guess. Sorry, I'm so used to like.
I know it's hard when
I'm
you're
so used
not
to working by
actually
myself
doing it,
and
right,
not saying it out loud. Totally. So I guess maybe go into, let's see, the edit. Is it edit tab where there's like the match color and replace color options?
I think that's going to be under
or an adjustments.
image, maybe.
Boom. So let's replace color since we don't have anything selected on another image to match the color to. We're just gonna kind of make up our own situation. So, is there a reason? Oh, I guess.
Because of the way we have it selected.
So how do? Oh,
What
I
do you
just
wanna
figured
do?
because the selection was on it that it would just automatically go for that selection. Right? Is it not though? Like, am I tripping? Yeah, it's not doing.
All right, here, let's do
Okay.
this. Deselect. I think that should work even just by being on that layer, but let's try it.
Okay.
Adjustments, replace color. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's just doing that part way up there.
If you click the dropper on the orange, might it? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So we can
So let's
kind
add
of.
that in.
Nice. There we go. Okay. So now we're just like selecting our macaroni again. Apparently that last step was fruitless, but here we go. Man, it looks pretty cool. That magenta
All right.
color that we already have chosen.
My random colors.
Oh, that was just from sliding that hue around. That's fantastic. So let's change the color by clicking on one of that box up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking kind of like a sexy dark blue. Yeah, something
Like
in
down
there.
here?
No, not that dark. Kind of more up towards the top, like a bright dark blue. Is that even a thing? I don't know.
All right, so up top.
Yeah, like a nice royal blue of sorts.
Royal blue.
Perfect.
Okay. that
So let's
works.
see how weird that looks.
All right.
Oh
And
gosh darn it. Do we have to select again?
You shouldn't have to. Oh, maybe we do.
That's strange.
Oh, no, it's because I selected yeah.
Okay.
So now it's looking for blues. That's my fault. All right, let's.
Oh, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay.
So let's go back and reset that. Shows how much I work in this. Okay, there we go.
Oh, weird.
That way I can see what I'm selecting. All right, so you're trying to change the color of this to that blue, right?
I mean, to some form of that blue for sure.
All right.
It's just, you know what? Oh, okay, yeah. Purple. I like purple. That's what I meant. Ooh.
Why am I not getting that orange? Try to fuzzing this out.
It's kind of a pretty purple.
It's kind of weird, though.
All right, we've got about 10 minutes left, it looks like.
Okay.
I think we need to. Should we do the contest real quick? 2 minutes? Okay, cool.
Okay, so we
Cool.
would need to refine that edge a little bit more, but
Oh, yeah. But that's still.
that's what you're looking for. Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not, man? Right? Like, this is the world we live in.
Okay, so can I show you a way I might have
Would you
approached
please?
that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Okay.
that's what I'm talking about. Like, don't listen to me, you guys.
No, we can listen to you. I'm just like, because I didn't know where you were going with it, so that's why it was hard for me
Totally,
to
no, I'm excited
operate.
to
Yeah.
see your method here.
So one of the other methods is to use the color replacement tool.
I didn't know that
Yeah, there's a color replacement tool. It's okay.
Oh dear.
And then we can go after that blue you want. Now, I like the idea of having it already selected and separated in a layer because that just makes it easier to brush.
Yeah, okay.
So let's see if we can just define that area. And so now with the replacement tool,
So using a ballpoint pen.
ballpoint point in the screen probably would not work well. So that lets us dial in that color or even fill with this color.
Hey guys.
So that way
that's
we
pretty.
get it with all just the mid-tone areas. So you can also just simply, since you have that area selected, you can also do it fill. And we want
I'm
to
like,
use...
this is all looking familiar.
Yeah, we want to use the foreground color, and we want to set the blending mode to color.
Yes. Oh, yeah, see?
And that way, it'll just give it that color.
That was like, I think, where my brain wanted to
Okay.
take us, but I just wasn't,
That's
wasn't
okay.
pulling that out.
Again, there's a million ways to do it.
Totally,
So,
right?
yeah.
Yay, Photoshop.
So now we could take just that selection and put that on its own layer. So that way we have this version. We should have that version.
Boop, boop. Oh, there we go.
Wait, I thought I put that on its own layer by itself. Hang on, let me undo that.
Oh, so we got a bunch more in there, right? Yeah. Okay, nice. Great. Okay, perfect.
Oh, I see what I did. Okay. That's on its own layer, and then we
Okay,
have
let's see.
the original, this one, or that one.
I like the lighter blue. That one looks so weird and cool.
Okay, so to get around those edges, we can go in. Yep. Time for the contest? Okay.
Oh yeah. Everybody for taking the time to get these images together and sent over. Still are super fun and easy because you can totally do it by yourself, right? Yay!
Yay.
Party. Okie dokie. So here we go. Looks like we've got about 8 or 9 entries here. So we've got Tyrone's here at the beginning. Very nice. Is he playing with a mirror there? It's kind of trippy. I can't quite tell what's going on, but I kind of like it. All right, and then let's see. We've got this. Oh, very nice. There's some super fast masking and dropping it onto a black backdrop, which is pretty cool. Nice looking bike frame there.
Cool.
Awesome. I love the brightness. Oh, it's kind of fun, like shooting things with faces that are inanimate objects because you can like kind of try to light them like you would a portrait or something.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 like mannequin dummy heads. I think they like stylists use them like when they're in hairstyling school and stuff, but I use them in my studio to test lighting when I don't have an assistant or somebody on set. Very cool. I see cropping it in there. Very nice. Somebody found a fish tank. I think I inspired somebody
There you
today. Very nice. Oh, nice little kind of like a selfie within the fish tank, if you will. What we got here? Some original mat. Very nice. No, like pickles.
I think you gotta scroll to see the before and after on that one.
Okay. Oh, dang. That was a...
Nice cleanup on the keyboard.
Yeah, holy crap.
Absolutely.
Some fancy footwork right there. We have to pick one. Okay.
All right,
And we've got
we're
our
out of
last
time,
one.
so we
All
gotta
right.
pick one.
Oh, man, you guys. Okay, let me just peek through these again really quick. I mean, my heart is leaning towards... Where is it? This one, just because it's so clean and colorful, and I really appreciate sort of the use of masking.
Yeah, and
all of
exactly. I
that.
like the way that was, set up, and then removing the objects that were actually holding it up.
and just in the brightening up the colors, and it looks like a really beautiful product shot. Like, so who's the winner?
I would dare say that wasn't just Lightroom, but yeah. All right, we're out.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So
All right, so that's our winner, and who is it? Scroll up.
Their name's not on here.
Oh, so whoever this is.
Whoever Behance photo contest.
All right.
You're the winner.
So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Marla.
And stay tuned tomorrow. I'll have a retouched version of the shot we did today, and then we're going to do something with cosmetics tomorrow for product photography. So,
bye, everybody.
Bye.